Hello,
Hey,
hello. Hi,
hey.
everyone. This is Dave and Roxanne.
Welcome to another episode of It's a
It's a
New
new day.
Day,
It's
It's a
a
New
new you.
You. If this is the first time you're tuning to our page, we do this episodes once, sometimes twice, sometimes over 3 times per week. And the goal of this episode is to encourage you, to inspire you that if you had a tough day yesterday, there's always a new day to become a new you, to become all that God created you to be.
Yeah. So, and if this is your first time or maybe a few times here in our page, we want to welcome you and thank you for tuning in. We always love to know how global we are in this community. So, comment below. Tell us where, what country, what city, what state you're tuning in from. We are here in our home in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I think last month we were in the U.S., Las Vegas, and LA as well. So now we're back home, and it feels amazing. But in the next couple of days here, we're also traveling again to Dominican Republic for a week. So we're very excited for it.
Yeah, so let us know where you're tuning in from. I always love to say hi to you guys.
Hi,
And
Stephanie. Hello, hello. We have Jen from UK. Wow, what time is it? In there, I think evening time. Hi, James. Hello, hello. Good morning as well. James is from Vancouver, BC, right? Awesome, awesome.
so every time we do a new day, new, you always phrase the question. What's the question today?
The question today is, what are the two things to look for in a leader?
Yeah, this is an incredible topic. I've been talking about this in this season of Christmas. Anyways, we have a charger here. In the season
Of Christmas.
of Christmas.
Hold on. That's our Christmas tree right there.
Yeah.
We just put it up a couple of days ago there. Okay. Hi, Perlita from Oshawa, Ontario. Awesome. It was great meeting you in person, Perlita, at the cruise. And congratulations, she's our brand new coach as well. Congrats, congrats. Jenny in the UK, nearly 8 p.m. Wow.
Amazing.
Awesome, awesome. Hi,
I
Coach Liz.
I've been sharing this to our leaders in our online tribe, and it's a great insight from a mentor that we have been following, that we have worked with, and this mentor has built a humongous ministry organization. But not only that, he's applied these principles, these two things you look for in his businesses. Basically, he's a bivocational preacher. He's a lay Catholic preacher, but built huge.
His name is Bo
His
Sanchez.
name is Bo Sanchez. Some of you might have read his books. He's a best-selling author. Many books as a best-selling author. But what I love about Bo is that he one saying I love about in his books is that the ultimate purpose of wealth is to give, and he's living that.
Yeah.
At one point, he was giving 50% of what he was making, but I think he's probably giving more now. And all of the royalties from his best-selling books goes to the ministry. So, he has wisdom. He said 42 years of building and growing leaders in not just ministry but in his businesses. He has massive businesses. He looks for two things. So if you strive to grow a business with leaders, any thriving successful business or ministry or organization has good leaders, and there are two things that he said he looks for. What's the first one?
The first one is love, right? As a leader, it's not really about being skillful, being a great speaker or a great motivator, inspiring leader. You don't need to have to do that, but or to be very good at it. You need to have love, right? Love for your people, love for your customers. When you have that love in your heart and you're able to give that to others, that's how you become a good leader
I love when I heard himself was like when you say love, it doesn't it sound corny, especially if you apply it
in
in
business or
business, right? You know, it's a genuine care for your people. If you're a business owner, it's genuine care for your customers,
Mhm.
genuine care for your employees, for your business partners. It's the genuine love and care, right? And again, Roxanne alluded to this. Like he was asked, like, don't you need this leader? Doesn't need to be skillful. Doesn't need to
Mhm.
be. So you said those are trainable
Yeah,
things.
you can
Trainable.
train
Of
them.
course, they need to be if they're applying for a position or there's a certain qualification or
Qualifications.
skill set. They need to have at least those things. But on top of that, they need to have a genuine uh, care or love for your customers and business partners and for you if you're watching this you're like Dave like I don't understand like how do I apply this in in my business, right? How do I apply this to become successful? I learned this from Ray Higdon, very good in social media. How do you do this? Very simply, let's say you're social media, you're an online business owner, right? Or maybe I don't know what business you're in, right? You can simply um, outserve your competition, right? Outgive your competition. And for example, in social media, for example, right? If if your competition gives one valuable content, do three, right? To serve your viewers, to to inspire, to educate them, to give them content, right? Do that, right? If your competition they bring in a new customer and they don't send them anything like a card or something, right? You do that to remember your customer, right? Outserve and outgive, right? I don't know what else you could do, right?
Yeah, and I think outserving means that you're doing something not in expecting a return,
Yeah.
right? You're doing things just so just to be kind, just to be loving, right? You want to be. I learned it from another preacher as well. He said that you don't want to be known as the most inspiring, most motivating person. You want to be known as the most loving person. Are you the most loving leader, right? I think the when you're doing things out of love, the results will come.
Yeah, and I think about the online community we're in, the founders of our community, they actually have a genuine care.
Mhm.
That's why we've grown to be either, if not the biggest online community, one of the biggest, because you'll never hear them, talk about their own results, how great they have become. They always talk about, how can we help? How can we serve this online community of over 130,000, right? And every time they would do an award, it's not about them, it's about, really uplifting. We recently, our year end recognition was like, I think it was like 15 award, and giving $1,000 out of their own pocket, right? Per award to shine the light on the people that are doing more for the community. There's a servant leader award, and people had to vote.
Yeah.
And they would give them 1,000 certificate. There's a Rising Star
Eagles.
Award.
Yeah.
Eagles. There's so many awards, and
Boss babe.
Boss Babe. Like all this kind of awards to give. And I think about those two guys, and there's so many things in the background that people don't know that they do because they have a genuine love and care. For for the community, for the people in the community. And if you have that in your heart, if you have that in your heart, that alone can allow you to win in the business you're in, compared to your competition, right?
Yeah. Hi, Franco. Thank you for coming and surprising our Christmas party.
Yeah.
Last Saturday, he's our surprise guest speaker. Such amazing leader. He's the kind of leader that who loves his team, his people as well. So thank you. We were surprised. Our coach actually invited him and they said it's a surprise, and we have no idea. When we saw him, we're like really like ecstatic to see him. It's our first time meeting him in person. And yeah, you're welcome for the book. Enjoy.
He's a rock star in my
Yeah.
community. He's an example of someone that that outserves and love his. He said, I remember his speech is like, do it for the one person
Mhm.
in your group,
Yeah.
right? Do it for the one person. That's what one biggest takeaway from Franco. Thank you, Franco. That was
Thank you,
incredible.
Franco. Hi, Jamie and Lino. Hello, hello. Awesome.
So the first one is love. The second thing is humility. And this is the second thing Bo Sanchez looks for, is humility. And he said this is really key for a leader to have. And humility is not lack of confidence. Humility is not being timid, right?
It's not like downgrading your own self.
You can be confident and humble, right? You can be a goal achiever, goal seeker, but humble, right? And why is this important? Again, going back to the question, don't you need to be skillful? You need this humility, because he said if you have somebody that's very skillful, so very good, but is very prideful, that causes problems in the organization, right? That is more of headache than a blessing in your group, in your community. And he would say, I would rather have somebody that's not as skillful but has humility and love, because skill can be learned throughout time. You have to be patient with your leaders, because it can be learned over time, right?
And also when when you're humble, then they're easy to be taught, right? To work with, right? They're willing to ask for your help. They're willing to learn, because we've seen leaders that are not humble, and they just don't, they're not open to learning new things.
It's
right?
really it's not fun to run an organization with people that is hard to deal with. And people that are hard to deal with, they're not humble, right? And it causes friction. It causes problems, and especially when you have a massive organization, it is not easy, right? So what is humility? Always be willing to learn, be a hungry student. Now, I remember Bob Proctor, one of the greatest mentors, I think, for a lot of people, one for me. He died at the age of
86, just recently.
86. Bob Proctor, a lot of people don't know, he changed my life. When I was new to the business world in 2004, I believe, right? I listened to his audiobooks and his Science of Getting Rich seminar over and over and over. And that's what helped me overcome and learn about myself, right? And he has so much wisdom, mentored so many people to become successful. And he was asked, how would you like to be remembered, right? Like, you would think that, that I impacted thousands of people, that I was the greatest motivator, that people will remember me because of my books. No, you know what he said? I want to be remembered as a great student. As a great student. That's humility right there. And in fact, another mentor that we follow is Robin Sharma. He said, the reason why people fail, he said, success is what did he say? When I forgot the actual quote, but he says, when success gets into your head, that's when it starts to fail. Because because
when you stop learning, you stop to grow, right? So he said to don't let success get into your head, into your mind, because when that happens, you
stop learning, you start being complacent, you start going to cruise mode. He said, when you become successful, you should be more hungry to learn. You should be sitting in front like a brand new student. You should be seeking for more knowledge. And I remember Bruce Lee said, in order to become successful, you have to empty your cup, right? Like, you don't know anything, and that's what successful people do when they continue to grow. They continue to remain. They remember where they started, right? And those are kind of the two things Bo Sanchez, which built a massive look for leaders: love and humility. And now we think about the group that God has blessed us with for the last 4 years now. And the reason why we have grown this much is because, unknowingly, we have attracted leaders that have this, right?
Yeah.
Love and willing
Love
to
and
serve,
humility,
willing
yeah.
to more than expected, and they're humble enough that when we, give them some ideas and some guidance, they're humble enough to learn, even though they're crushing it in their business. And we came from a leaders retreat in a cruise, and we have a person that is a legend in the industry, over 16 years, right?
Yeah.
Making multiple seven figures.
Well, 36 years now.
36 years now in the industry, but in
16 years in our
in the current company, right? He's a multiple seven-figure earner, but he's one of the most humble.
Oh yes, he's the most humble
person I know. You wouldn't know that this guy's a multiple seven-figure earner. He's the most loving and giving person I know. And when he did his talk, that was that was one of my highlights here. And talked about we can learn from the greatest builder of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And that is Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus not only had love, he also had humility. He said Jesus, had recruited 12 leaders, right, to build 2.2 billion followers in their organization. And the reason why is simply because they had love and humility, which Jesus taught to his 12 disciples, right? And let's start with love, right? It's not just love, sacrificial love. We're now in the Christmas season. The reason why there is Christmas, because of this sacrificial love, right? The best picture I have, an explanation of how much God loves us, is again coming from Sanchez. Think about Jesus, right? The Son of God, up in heaven, relaxing, just imagine how incredible his life is. But there was an issue. There was a miscommunication between God and men, right? People thought that God is an angry God. God wants to punish you, right? So, what God did, right, for all of us, right? He sent his only son. Jesus had to disrobe his divinity, right? Up there, he had to come down on earth. He was born in a dirty manger, right? Experience the human life, our emotions, our angers, our fears. But not only that, he had to sacrifice and die on the cross, right? Die on the cross just to tell you and I, so that there's no miscommunication, to tell you and I audibly that he loves us through his action, right? That's called sacrificial love, right? And what about humility? Isn't that the ultimate humility, right? You're the son of God, and you had to experience the life, and you had to die as a human, right? Yeah. That's the ultimate humility. And all the if you read the Bible, how he washed the feet of his disciples, so many things, an example of humility. Because of his example, those 12 disciples were willing to die for this cause, right? Because of that example. And again, you don't have to die on a cross. you don't have to do even what Jesus did. The point is, if you have a little bit of sacrifice, between you, your business partners, and your customers, that if it's between you winning or the customers, let's say you lose a little bit, but you gain a customer or you gain a business partner, right? It's really the rule of McDonald's, right? Rule number one, the customer is always right, which is really love and sacrifice, right? Yeah. Even if and rule number two, if the customer is ever wrong, refer to rule number one, right? That's an example in business how you do that. So I hope we gave you value today, right?
Yeah. So our verse today is from John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life.
Yeah, and eternal life through Jesus, right? And again, there wouldn't be any Christmas if there was no sacrificial love, right? That God did. He sent his only begotten son, right? So, which is incredible.
Another verse that we want to share before we end is, about humility and love is from Ephesians 4, verse 2 to 3. It says, "Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace."
Yeah, I mean, if your intention
Mhm.
is always to, unite people instead of divide through your actions, that's it. It's applicable. So it's applicable in business, it's applicable in organization, but
In your
here's
family.
even more important for this Christmas season, right? Is your family, right? Because regardless, if you like it or not, you're a leader somehow, right?
Yeah.
You're a person of influence, right?
Yeah. So sometimes people thought that, oh, I can't be a leader because, I'm not very good in, in speaking. I'm not very good in leading, right? But whether you like it or not, you are a leader. The question is, how are you leading? You are a leader in your family. You are a leader in your workplace, because being a leader is really, you have influence over someone. So as a leader, you want to be a great example, right? A great example to, as a mom, as a dad, as a coworker. And the best quality is you to have love and humility in your workplace, in your family, in your, if you have arguments with your son or with
Yeah, how
your
do you apply
daughter,
this? Yeah.
how, like, really be humble and be loving to your son. You don't have to win every time just because you're a mom or you're a dad, right? I i i learned it from my mom, how she's very loving to my brother, especially when he was a teenager. Like, for me, I would get mad at my brother the way, he acts, but my mom is so patient and so loving, and now he turned out to be a really good, good man, right? He's 23 right now. And really, it's because of love. Like, how do you perform when there is tension? How do you perform as a leader, in your workplace, in your family, not just in business,
Maybe
right?
this Christmas season, you haven't talked to a brother or sister for a long time, right?
Mhm.
How do you apply this humility and to become a great leader in your family? You're the first one that will reach out first
Mhm.
and maybe say, "I'm sorry." Does that require humility?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Does that make you a great leader? Absolutely. Right? Because you're leading the unity in
Mhm.
your family. And as a Christian, that's what would, ask the question, what would Jesus do? Right?
Mhm.
That's the spirit of Christmas, right? You lose to yourself so that you win in the overall battle, right? Just like Jesus, right? He seems like he lost when he died on the cross, but really that was the ultimate victory,
Mhm.
because he paid the price for all of us, right? And again, you don't have to pay the price like dying on the cross. It's really applying love by sacrificial love, maybe out serving family. If no one volunteers this Christmas to have a party because it's a lot of work, you do it, right? You say, "I'm gonna volunteer to have the Christmas at our house," right? I don't know what it is, but you are a leader somehow. You're an aunt, an uncle, even if you don't have kids, right? You're an aunt, an uncle. You're a mother, a father, a brother, a sister. You are a person of influence,
Mhm.
right? So this does not only apply in business. More importantly, it applies in your homes.
Mhm.
And this is the true spirit of Christmas. So I hope we give you value. I hope, not only do you learn this, I hope that you could apply this and bring this to your home
Yeah.
in this Christmas season, right?
Yes. Merry Christmas as well. And if you get value from this, feel free to share this. Also, comment below, what you're gonna apply, what you've learned. We always love to know if you're learning something here from our episodes here. And our goal is really to, especially next year, is to really, like, we're learning as well,
Yeah.
to keep serving, to outserve as well, because love and humility, those are simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
But with the grace of God, we can still, be that, be more of love, be of more humility.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We're approaching Christmas. Thanks for
Merry
tuning in. We
Christmas as
appreciate all
well.
of you for always stopping our page. That is another episode of
It's a new day. It's a new you.
God
God
bless
bless
everybody.
you. Take care. Bye.